Welcome all one more time here on your wonderful show. Sankofa, your host, Maponga J. Guest with me today, Babu Ncube, and a wonderful lady all the way from the East Africa, Faye. We're going to be going through some conversation in the space of tourism, culture, and we don't want to forget, of course, today we just walked out of a conference right now, just a few hours ago, where on the 14th of this month, we're celebrating the Nyerere Day. Great legacy, wonderful man, beautiful spirit of one of our stalwarts. And if half of some of what those guys were talking about could be implemented, if the unity that we're talking about can be implemented, if half of our leaders could stop and listen to the echoes of the past, we would not be in this mess that we're talking about right now. The issues of borders was spoken a long time ago. The issues of common trade were spoken a long time ago, but it looks like we're just running in circles and in circles. And political appetite of our political leaders and democracies, this and that, signing treaties left, right, and center, converting African politics and African resources into private businesses. Corruption is rife and everything else. But anyway, we don't want just to talk about everything else and run all over the show. I want us maybe to zoom in particular, on the tourism issue and cultural exchanges of the African countries. Welcome to the show, Faye. Tell people, who is Faye?
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. My name is Faye Shao. I'm from Tanzania, but I consider myself as a Pan-African child. I just put myself in a position whereby I should be able to go any place, in this continent, and I feel at home. So whether I'm in South Africa or I'm in Tanzania or I'm in Ouagadougou, my core values must not change. So that's why I'm very conversant.
Where is Ouagadougou?
The west part of Africa. Yeah.
Sometimes people are saying, you got lost in Ouagadougou. And people actually don't think that there's a real place called Ouagadougou. It has become like a cliche, you know?
Yes. So I'm the founder of the Pan-African Cultural Experience. Okay. It's a continental initiative whereby we want to look more of the business side of our heritage and culture. So looking at how can we stimulate entrepreneurship, manufacturing, and inter-Africa trading that is inspired by our heritage and culture. Now tourism being one of it. And the lovely show that we had a pleasure to have you today is called Swahili Africa. So with the Swahili Africa, what we're trying to do is still the same, saying that Swahili has been accepted with AU as a language of introduction of Africa to the rest of the world. And also SADC has accepted it as one of the official language of communication. And we can see more now countries, they are more becoming interested into having Kiswahili.
We'll come back on the Kiswahili thing. Let me just introduce Mr. Ncube here.
Yes.
Who is Mr. Ncube and what is he doing and what is his passion? What keeps him awake at night?
Thank you so much, Bishop. We really appreciate, and it's an honor to have us in your studio. And look, Cuthbert is my name, and I'm with the African Tourism Board, where as we were celebrating the legacy of our icon, Julius Nyerere, where we are saying, look, as much as policies have been crafted within the AU, sector, but when it comes to implementation as such, really we don't see a robust engagement or commitment.
And movement.
Yes, and movement. Which is so sad.
These guys just fly around with briefcases of books and papers. But can you believe up to now they've not even one company for manufacturing toothpicks?
It's so sad. It's so sad. At one stage I was in Tanzania, and I stayed in this hotel, and during my breakfast, when I realized Botswana, by the way, they produce one of the best teas and coffees in the continent.
That is,
but I was surprised to see that you've got teas from English tea, which I refused to drink. I said, I need a local manufactured tea. That's what we need to be advocating as Africans, to say, let's look within.
Let's look within.
Yes.
Anyone in this world who is able to change your culture is able to change your spending and your economics. So when you begin to talk issues of culture, I want us maybe to dive right in there, because inside culture is fashion, inside culture is food, inside culture is medicine, inside culture is housing, it is finances. So if I change your culture,
it's technology.
How much of you have I actually taken away from yourself? Maybe that's where you start. So take us through language. It's part of culture also.
Yes. Yeah. So as you said, it's unfortunately that in Africa is the only continent that we have two lives. We have a normal life and we have a cultural life. Do you understand?
You have a white wedding and then you also have a cultural wedding. They even say, no, I want a white one, and then we'll do the cultural one.
Yeah, but okay, that's something that is very obvious when it comes to wedding, because it's a big occasion in the lifetime. But in a real life, as we work up every single day, the way we do things, it's not really the way they were supposed to be done African way. But we only have a specific days to celebrate our culture, thinking that the way we sleep, the way we drink, the way we dress, the way we sing, the car we drive, I mean, the clothes we wear, they are not really part of our culture. We need to have a specific things for African culture. And another thing is that the minute you say African culture, it goes straight to spiritual part of the things, which is where everything starts, because we are spiritual being. That much I understand. But it's just like we are boxing African culture in one area. It's not about only spiritual and the ancestors. I'm talking about in the normal perspective, like if you're speaking to the young person, especially in Africa. So it's time for us as Africans to make our heritage and culture as normal. And we need to let our young people and the kids to understand culture is the total way of living. Because most our kids at home, they'll say, don't eat African traditional food, but they'll order pizza and pasta. That is Italian someone's culture.
Traditional food.
You understand? So that is the place that we have to reach as Africans and try to see how can we incorporate our heritage and culture in each and every aspect of our life. There's no difference. We don't have to live two lives.
Dichotomy.
Yes.
On your side, how do we commercialize our culture and make it beneficiary to us, to ourselves?
Look, there is one aspect our colonizers managed to actually succeed, especially in Africa. That is to keep us segmented as Africans. Thereby, we are not able to appreciate who we are and what potential God has afforded us as an African culture, as an African community. So I would really believe that it is high time for us to go back to the drawing board. Let's appreciate, we must know where we're coming from. I mean, as she is, I would allude with her when she said your dressing, I mean, your eating habit, it's all been brainwashed to the extent that we no longer appreciate your peanut butter and rice and yes. I mean, we need to go back.
Even the way we do business.
Yes.
Even the way we do business. The only challenge that we have, which I like that I'm still a student also of Africa, like how to be an African, you know, because we all know that the content, the knowledge, it was not there. Like, talk about internet
I want
now.
to challenge you. I want to challenge you, Ncube.
Yes.
You see, I hear you talking about culture and all this beautiful stuff you're talking about. But does our African businessmen and our African indigenous businessmen, does he have the knowledge? 1, 2. Does he have the ability? 3. Does he even have the passion to take the products you are talking about and place them where people can find them? Right now, you open up your TV, you drive through the freeways here, you won't find the African products put there. Our African boys, when they make money, they buy 41 cars, 1.4 million each. And then they fill up in their bank. I follow what I'm trying to say. It's one thing for you to say you want the African people to identify with their culture. But does the African himself right now have the thinking pattern that tells him how the business culture works? So that yes, you may have a product, you may have accommodation, you may have transport, and whatever services that you're offering.
Yeah.
Are we able as Africans actually to know that you can take 100,000 and put it into advertising and it will come back to you in whatever way? Because you help me. Where are the African businesses, if I may ask?
Look, we need to unpack this decolonization mentality, whereby we start then appreciating. I believe that yes, we still have some good men out there, especially within the African community. remember, I have always said, if you want to see the best economists, are our rural people, who has a land where she tills the land. Guess what? Time of harvest, she knows exactly how far that provision will take her for the whole year. So that's economics. That's serious planning. That's serious
how much
economics.
To sell, how much to keep.
And now, because our oppressors, they then trying to instill this foreign education in us. So that's why we need to go back and appreciate who we are.
But commercially, on your side, I still want to press you hard.
Yes.
In terms of making our businesses available to the masses. I mean, it's one thing for someone to fly right now from Italy, or someone flies from Australia.
Yes.
What are the chances? Boom, you arrive at Olive or Tambo Airport. What are the chances that you might end up sleeping in an African hotel? You may end up in an African restaurant. You may end up in an African shop. Or it is by accident that while you're walking in, boom, oh, there's this African shop. But I'm saying, in the aeroplane when you are flying in, have we packaged our businesses as Africans to ourselves first, and maybe then on to the outside community? Are we aware of where the people are who have the money, so that we can meet them with our services? That's the question I want to ask you directly.
Yes. So I think it's the issue of identity first. And that is why we're having these conversations, which they're very important. Like your work and other people who are trying to unleash, you know, the identity of an African person. Because if you don't know who you are, it's very difficult. It's very easy for you to be twisted, right? So if we're ready, we become in a position. We are in a position to identify ourselves as Africans, right? And now we need to have those, for the lack of the better word, I would say institutions, whereby we need to have this knowledge, channeled into our academic institutions, and even from the household level. You understand? From the household level, we need to understand, when you're talking about being an African, what is it? And that's what I'm challenging you. Saying that at this moment in time, you're one of the custodian of indigenous knowledge for Africa. You're holding a very, very senior position when it comes to African knowledge, and I appreciate that you know your story. That's how they say it in a simple word. So yes. So what I'm saying is, now you need to tell us. We need to think in a way that we can package this knowledge. So when you tell someone, be an African, how to be an African, you know, even to have an interest to buy African, or to even thinking, when you are starting to, as an entrepreneur, when you start thinking of a business idea, you should start thinking in an African way. But what is this African way?
Where is it?
Do you understand? Because we're talking about Africa. But now we don't have a channel. We understand that our knowledge was distorted. But I think one of your talk, I like, you reflected that, saying it's time now to go to work. You know, time for pity party is over. Crying that this was taken and all that. It's good to reflect, but we need to work, because we are late in the global market. You understand? So we need to find a way to incorporate our culture with what is in the world. There's no way we can say now,
before we start appreciating our makeup.
Yes.
The Chinese are selling us their makeup. It's like we have lost it.
Yeah.
Your response on that?
I think we need to start writing our own narrative. It's unfortunate, as you have indicated, that somebody flies from Belgium, is coming to Africa. When he gets into the SAA flight, what does he get? He is being fed with the Sawubona magazine. And that Sawubona magazine does not reflect our true African heritage.
It's just a title, Sawubona.
It's just a title.
You open Sawubona, it's Balito.
It's just a cover.
It's Balito and Senten.
And Senten. So it's our responsibility now is to start writing our own narrative. So that when somebody gets on a flight from Heathrow Airport, flying directly to Africa, he must be able to read what we can offer him in Africa.
When you come back after the break, I want us to start looking at how do we decolonize tourism. How do we decolonize that, so that we don't only just look at tourism as actually something that belongs to white people and visitors, Is it possible that we can actually use tourism as an educational tool for our own children? Don't go away, just after the break.
Hello. The fourth industrial technology era has forcefully changed how every profession has been working for its clients. The world has become smaller than what we used to think. Imagine the ease of talking to a person who is in Australia, China, or Germany while you are in South Africa, as if you're just next door. The ease that globalization and the fourth industrial technology have brought to humanity entail doing business anywhere in the world as long as you have the purpose and the means. It is our expertise as MB Chabangu Incorporated to advise clients immigrating to South Africa on various permits and on opportunities for travelers who intend to sojourn in South Africa for a longer period of time.
Ṣé ayé náà ti kéré ju èyí tí a rò lọ. Nítorí náà ìmọ̀ wa ní ìsìlọ̀ àti òfin àgbáyé. Ṣé wá ní ọ́fíìsì àkókò lórí àwọn ìṣòwò ilé àti ìgbaniláyé láti gba ìwé ìrìnnà fún iṣẹ́ òkòwò.
Ho MB Chabangu Incorporated, reba eleji di notary le basebedisi le di office tsa rena kwa Pretoria, Johannesburg le Bloemfontein. MB Chabangu Incorporated e humanega ga bonolo go bareki ba rena. Go humana tlhagiso leseding ka botlalo re kgopela le re leletse mogala go 012 341 4187 go ba le re ngwalele lengwalo tsebile go admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, mo mathata a humanago tharollo.
Many of our African fathers and mothers have never actually sat down on their planning and budgeting for the year to think that in the midst of working so hard for the whole year, you can actually take a holiday, and in that holiday you can incorporate education into it so that your children can actually have experience. Take me through the advantages of teaching family tourism and how does that benefit families and impact the economy.
Okay, actually, I like the fact that you say the impact to the economy, because that's a very important area, especially on the culture and heritage. I can just give you an example. When we were having a chat during the break, you said like, what does it take? I mean, what do I get when I go to Cradle of Humankind, or I visit a farm and something like that? And to be honest, it's just that it's the knowledge that we need to bring into the market, that because the tourism industry itself, it's changing. People are not traveling anymore to look at, to go see a place. They're no longer traveling to go only, okay, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, it's good enough. They don't just go there and see Kilimanjaro or go and see God's window. They want to experience.
You have traveled, yeah? And you see God's window, the potholes, and everything.
Yes, yes. They want to experience, the place. The place. So talking about domestic tourism. So, and you can say, okay, I'm South African, oh, I'm Tanzanian. I mean, what is it that I can see? If you talk about lions, I mean, I pass them on the street all the time. But now, for tourism industry, actually, and COVID-19 came to our advantage. It's time that we package the tourism services for Africans. But because for the very long time, the tourism industry was for tourists from abroad. You see, the industry never really packaged. That's why the reality of the tourism industry now, they are struggling because Africa can trade by themselves, but people don't know how to sell Africa. Yes,
I will come back to that. And I'll come back to that. Actually, something one light is just switched on in my mind. Your response to that, what is it in this industry that can benefit families and stuff?
Look, tourism is a necessity for the whole family. Gone are the days where we thought that tourism, it's actually a sector that is made for a certain sector of people. whereby we think that only those who come from abroad are tourists. Yet we don't acknowledge and appreciate somebody who drives
those
from
who come
Mpumalanga.
those who come from outside are tourists. Those who
Yes.
come from Africa
They are not tourists.
are illegal immigrants.
So we need to change that concept, that misconception, and start appreciating so that we are able to holistically appreciate one another. Yes, my emphasis as well is to say, look, we need to appreciate our domestic. We need to explore, because we cannot serve to the outside world, yet we ourselves, we haven't actually appreciated and enjoyed, indulge ourselves within the fraternity of tourism. So tourism, it's all about connecting people together. It's all about bringing people together.
Let me punch a hole right there. Is it possible, therefore, that that whole entire market has been branded and packaged by a Eurocentric community for the Eurocentric mindset? I will explain why I'm saying that. Because you look at, for example, Sodwana caves. The whole entire history of the Sodwala caves. The whole entire history of Mpumalanga and the Swazis is in those caves. The Dlaminis, the Mnisis, the Magagulas, when they were being hunted, they would take their cattle and everything else and run into those caves and hide there until the battles are over. And if you fight them in the cave, you lose the battle. And you find here the Mnisis and Magagulas and etc. And they will not know that within these caves,
that's true,
actually our history is inside these rocks. And you get there, right now in Sondwana, the history that you read more about is dolomite. How for thousands of years, those things have been dropping, and you say, okay. So if you ask, and hence I'm saying, is it possible that actually maybe that the tourism industry is Eurocentric, and it needs to be decolonized and deconstructed? Because if right now you can give me Sodwana caves to package them, I would empty the entire Swazi nation and the entire Mpumalanga to come and do ceremonies at the caves in remembrance of their ancestors who were there. Are you following? Because that's where the African is. But if you package them in terms of dolomite, 220 million years, who amongst an African wants to care about dolomite, which is 20 million years? So I'm asking you, in your own space, is it possible that actually we are marketing tourism, but it is a colonized tourism?
Totally agree with you. It was not meant for the continent. Hence now, if I have to travel to Nigeria, I need to go to Dubai. And why so? Even if you look at the packaging of affordability, our people cannot afford. That was all focused to the wild folks from Europe. So the whole process of tourism, definitely it needs and it leaves a lot to be desired. Hence our engagement, even within the African Tourism Board, we normally have our ministerial roundtable engagement, where we're saying, colleagues, it is high time. And remember, it's politics as well.
You are mentioning something very critical.
Yes.
To fly from here to France is as expensive as flying from here to Vic Falls.
If not more than,
Vic Falls, it's like 1,500 kilometers from here. France is like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 kilometers away. I still want you to help me here. The issue of tourism is then intergovernmental misengagement of communication, where you are talking tourism this side, but your airspace and aviation and transport, maybe there's a disjoint. There's a problem.
True. It even goes beyond that. We cannot afford a hotel to sleep in a hotel. That was a package meant for the European market. So we are saying, please, let's revisit the whole concept, so that especially now that we are activating tourism and we are emphasizing the domestic and intra-Africa travel, we are saying, please, let's open up so that our people are able to enjoy and afford.
How do you decolonize tourism?
We decolonize tourism by educating our community as to what are the benefits of tourism, right? Actually, we can go back and say, why do people travel? Either to see a new place, to distress, or to gain knowledge, right? So when you mention those things, when you look at why do people travel, in each and every aspect of the answer, there is a product there. So we need to educate our community how. I mean, while through education, we will see how our counterpart they manage to package their culture actually and attract people to come and appreciate as a tourism destination. You spoke about the place whereby you bring people to do the celebration, right? On the programs of culture and heritage tourism, it's one of the things that my committee, because I'm also head of committee in African Tourism Board, but focusing on culture and heritage. That is something that we are trying to do. When I say why do people travel in the tourism industry currently, people don't travel, as I said, they don't travel to go see places. They travel to upgrade their well-being. And the only problem with how we package our things, it's the only difference from us and our counterpart is that they package it so nice. Do you understand? Now they call it wellness tourism, but that's cultural tourism. Because people leave Africa and go to scratch a floor in Bali. Because why? They believe when they come from that place, they have finished the journey towards self-discovery. Do you understand? But my question is, we do have Freedom Park here. If it's the issue, why can't we scratch it here? We have Cradle of Humankind. We have a lot of places. But the thing is education, to tell people that...
The gap.
Yes. Wherever that you're going to look in Bali, you can get it find it in Africa.
When you come back after the break, I want to ask the chairman here of the Africa Tourism, why is that in hotels you have an English breakfast? And yet you cannot find a Zulu breakfast. I want to find it. I want to ask him, why do we have English tea in all these restaurants? Why is it that it's all white? You get there, you cannot even find pap and vegetables in these hotels, but you get lasagna, you get spaghetti bolognese, and etc. Maybe it's got something that he must tell me, because I've struggled. When they ask me in a hotel, what do you want? And I want to be naughty, I said, bring me ugali. Ugali and vegetables. And what is ugali? He says, how can I be in Africa and you don't know ugali? When you come back after the break, and them just pull their legs a little bit and let's demystify this whole thing about Africans do not do tourism. Here with me, Mr. Ncube and Faye from the African Tourism Board.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Make massive moves.
The space race has already started.
Russia had got the first object into space.
The coast is as wild today as it was when Europeans settled the continent.
Enormous beasts with enormous thirst. The teams are primed and ready.
They got the first animal in space, and they've got the first person.
Time to see what the boys can do.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
There is a proverb that we speak in my tribe that says a crocodile is the king amongst all the jungles, because he will never go to the bush and hunt for his food, but his food comes to his mouth. See what I'm saying? You don't. All other animals, these other wild animals, they go hunting for food, but a crocodile just waits in the pool, and when the guys are coming to drink water, there is breakfast for you. If you are in South Africa, you can hear me well. All the mukwenas, all the crocodiles, you don't have to go to Tanzania and look for food. The food has come to your it has come on your. If Faye goes back to Tanzania, my gents, don't cry. This is the closest I can say. You know, don't go hunting. Just open up your mouth. Thank you, you forgive me. I'm being mischievous. What is this you're putting on? Just maybe take us through some of your beautiful look here, and what it represents, and what is this all about?
Okay, actually, this is kanga. It's a very famous attire, I should say. In Tanzania, every woman must have this.
Chitenge, kanga.
It's kanga. Chitenge is Zambia. They call it chitenge, okay, but it's a different version of the fabric. So the beautiful, the story about this is that first of all, the cotton is farmed in Tanzania and processed up to this level, and we use them like it's a product.
So there's a factory in Tanzania that makes
definitely.
It's not from Malaysia or from China.
No.
This is
and
like
the cotton. This factory has got cotton farms.
I want to push right there.
Yeah.
People that are out there, if you are looking for cotton and you want these kangas and materials printed in this fashion, take your designs, get in touch with Faye.
Yeah.
Let's put business in Tanzania instead of running to China. Yeah. There is a factory in Tanzania that can actually produce this thing. In Gogo, for example, some of these traditional things that we are doing, we cannot call it African culture if it is supporting Western businesses and Asian businesses. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes.
So please put face number at the bottom there for the kanga, please. Not for the crocodile, but for the kanga.
Yes, we do have them. We supply them.
Okay, so it's a kanga?
It's a kanga. It's a piece of fabric. Actually, the history comes from the coast. So it's mostly, it came from the coast. But now every woman in Tanzania is kind of like an introduction to an outfit for. You can wear it in a different ways. This, there's no definition. I'm just playing around to look okay with my clothing.
Hippie. It's quite hippie. It's quite it's Arabic, it's African, and I know the history of the Swahili, of course.
Yeah.
The whole, between the sultans and, the greater tribes of Mombasa, the Zanzibar. And I did my research.
You do. And another thing, what is interesting about this fabric is that this is the first fabric that a woman will receive a child with when they give birth.
You get me sitting up straight now.
Yes.
Once you start talking culture now, it starts getting warm now.
Yeah, and now it's the same fabric that when we bury you, we wrap you with. So of course you'll have the other things, but it's a culture to have a piece, a new piece to put it.
And it's also a fabric that the mother carries the child with on their back.
Correct.
So a woman with a kanga is actually it's a bed, it's a shower. Yeah. It's the receiver, and
there are different ways of wearing it. If I go to the coast, actually we are busy doing a documentary about the kanga. There is a way that you wear it. I mean, when you're with your husband, when you are visitors.
You have an extra one here. You can do a demonstration. You can do a demonstration.
Not now. Not now. So when you go into the market, how you dress it.
There's a way of putting it on.
Putting it like if you're going to
I remember even some of the gogos, when they're coming from the market, they put it on their bag with food. Yeah, it carries a child, tied in the front. And in some certain cases in Africa, actually, in my own small little research also, the women would have these clothes around their waistlines so that they keep their wombs warm.
That's true.
For other. And when you give birth,
it helps you
take the kanga and then they tie it, and then
you know your story.
They don't just call them old men for nothing, is it?
I see.
Tie that thing tight. 2-3 weeks later, boom.
Talk about modern culture. We have belts. These belts. I mean, they can even see what these women were doing because now we have. So we have to find a way.
We were there before it even got here. Chief, my gun is on your neck now. Why do we have English breakfast in African hotels?
Look, it's unfortunate that it's a reflection or telling us that the ground is not level. Most of the hotels are owned by conglomerates companies, and white companies, of course. And even our restaurants, there's very few restaurants where you really can go and enjoy cultural food. They are still owned. That's why within the tourism sector, we are still advocating that we definitely need to revamp. The transformation should start with tourism, because it's one sector that joins people together. It's one sector that brings warring parties together. So this is the very same sector we need to use in getting our people back to the equal playing grounds. So it's unfortunate, and you'll be surprised as well. When you talk of tourism, we talk of the whole value chain. Your restaurants, your supermarkets,
your clothing, your crafts.
Are you aware that in Africa, Malawi, Tanzania, they produce the best rice? But all these are flooded with Chinese rice.
Plastic.
I mean, it's so
the
sad.
other day I saw a small little clip where it's actually plastic. It's the chemical plastic that and you and then becomes a bouncing ball. And I said to myself, yuck.
It's so sad. Yeah. So we are saying, please let us change the narrative. And we plead with our strategic partners, especially the government. They should be protecting our industry. They should be protecting our economies.
Let me give you, let me be mischievous. Anyone who's been to Nigeria?
I haven't been there.
You have been there?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay. I was going to tell you something. In Nigeria, you will have goosey in a top hotel. That arrogance. You'll have the slimy stuff with chicken and fish, okra.
That should be mandatory.
In VI, this is Victoria Island. I was there. I go there. You get there, you get pounded yam and egg soup, egg soup in the top hotels. And I look at this and I'm saying, you come to South African spaces, Zimbabwe included, Botswana included, and you just want millet pap, or you want sorghum pap, you want umroho. Walk to Holiday Inn right now, walk to Hilton, walk where. And honestly speaking, are these...
See, the reality of things is that when we started the conversation, you even say that is the tourism industry for Africans or for tourists from other continents? Unfortunately, it's tourists from other continents. And I'm running a business here. And I have visitors from Germany and Italy and all that. So will I do Mogodu for them for breakfast? Or I'll do the English breakfast, or I'll do... so these things are there. Like, it's not there because the people who goes there, they want that food. But now, working with the institutions and the whole tourism industry, we need to start slowly introducing. And another thing is we also have to be practical. And that's something that we are doing. We are working with Zanzibar. We are talking about food in the hotel. I'll take you through the wellness and well-being tourism. Just one item of the therapy.
Take your time. Yeah. But now you're dividing between commercial tourism. Now you're going for cultural tourism, but spiritual tourism.
And commercial, because we want to make money.
You know to make money, but I'm just saying the punchline is for the experience.
Yes. Yeah. So when you talk about what is happening in the tourism industry now, as I said, people are traveling to upgrade their well-being, right? So they're looking for, they don't just go to the area to just sightsee. They want to see what's happening in that area, the culture and the food. They want to taste, feel, see, hear, smell the destination, you see. So, and that's what the advantage that we have as Africans, to see how we can stimulate those elements in our tourism destination. To give you a smaller example, in Zanzibar, there's a project that we are doing with the Department of Trade and Industry.
That's in Tanzania.
In Tanzania, in Zanzibar. So we realized that...
Sounds like that's where Mzanzi comes from. Zanzibar. Zanzi, yeah.
So talking about wellness and well-being tourism, we just realized, we just pick one area and say that, okay, we have the most luxurious spas and 5-star hotel in Zanzibar, and they are spa in Zanzibar. But what is missing is how can we incorporate the local cultural and heritage into this? Because
so they participate.
Yes, because you find they say it's a Mandarin or it's a Thai or it's a
Thai spa,
but they are still using Zanzibarian Zanzibarian products. So with this project, what we're trying to do is to see how can we come up with Zanzibarian massage, and then from that, it's something that I want to kind of like spread to the rest of the continent.
Wow.
So that's the project I'm also working with Ebutsini in Mpumalanga. So see that if you go to Ebutsini, you should be in a position to get a Swati massage. And now, what is massage? Why do you do massage? It's relaxation, stress release. So we look at, in our indigenous way, we used to have stress.
Oh.
You see, how do we distress? You see, so those elements, we package them so that they can be palatable. Because remember, we cannot force people to buy things that they don't want. Oh no, it's foreign to them, and we force them.
You introduce them until we get them buy-in.
Yes, for Zanzibar, we're working with institution. There is a research institute whereby they are doing research about these Zanzibarian oils, making sure that does it work with what skin and the strokes of the massage, how many, because that's what is missing in African products, standardization, and we should not be shy about it. You can force people to have, but the issue is becoming the backup. How did you end up making a magwenya that you can force me to have it?
You don't know magwenya now?
Yes.
Okay, magwenya with minced meat.
Yes, yes.
That is, if you know that, then I know you have been to Ekas. You have been to the other side of town. Chief, give me your response on cultural tourism.
Yeah, I think what we need to do as well, I would really plead to all stakeholders, especially our custodians, the government. It must start with them. They need to demonstrate. I want to give you a practical example. That's why my emphasis is to make sure that all the value chain within the tourism sector, they benefit. If the parliament opens in Cape Town, you've got thousands of government officials who are booked in Cape Town. Do they book them in your guest house? No. They all are booked in your 5-star hotels in Hilton. Why not start supporting our structures, especially our black service providers? I think
and
that's where we are missing.
As she's saying, assist them to make sure that their services.
Yes, we need that. And also let's emphasize the fact of supporting our own products, our own indigenous foods. We need to go back. If you look at the level of stress and people are dying of heart attacks and so forth, it's not because it's anything else. It is because of what the colonizers are feeding us on a daily basis. So we have abstained in our own indigenous food that gives us life. We were actually Madagascar, which is a case study we did under the African Tourism Board, where they said, no, look, that's fine, Corona is coming, but we've got our own concussion.
There we go.
That helps.
Our own traditional mshonyana.
And guess what? Not even a single nation stood with Madagascar. They stood and defended on their own. Go back to Tanzania, when the president said, look, we're not going to dance around the tune of European. We will do our own.
I released a statement from Magufuli.
We will do.
Congratulating him for that.
What
I mean, that patriotic voice was audible.
Yes. But unfortunately, it's a lone voice in a desert. We need more engagement, especially within the stakeholders. Our member states, they need to be able to stand up and support one another.
When you come back after the break, we'll find some interesting slants here and there. Here celebrating Nyerere Day. On top of that, African tourism, and with me, the chairman for the Board of African Tourism, and our honorable lady Faye, all the way from Tanzania. She's already giving me recipes of magwinyas and other things. And let's enjoy ourselves. Don't go away. We'll be back right after the break.
Make massive moves.
How can you say that? That is what it is.
Your mother eloped with someone else.
I just think this is such a genius idea. I think it's amazing.
I can be happy.
It's inside you. It's inside of all of us.
It's about cooking smart that are nutritious and delicious.
President Trump acknowledging the coronavirus death toll could be significantly higher.
You don't want to do this.
There is nothing you can take. Jerusalem.
Surviving roommates scared.
The heavyweights arrive.
Inside, finds Petulia, blocked by Jane.
This is the will of God.
Make massive moves with Starsight. Make massive moves.
Isn't that your daughter's bib? But the truth is, I feel like Arabella's always with me.
Don't you ever forget this man's face. He killed your brother.
Don't shoot. Please don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Make massive moves with Starsight.
Here on your show with Maponga J, with me, the chairman of the African Tourism Board, and you also serve on the same board, don't you?
Yeah.
We are dealing with African tourism right here, packaged here, and on this beautiful Heritage Month. What a better way of celebrating our heritage, but being reminded about our own African heritage. You're still going to be telling us about Mzansi, but I want us to lift up the argument also. Maybe just advertise the continent of Africa. Give us a small little eagle's view. If you go there, you find this. If you go there, you find this. If you go there, so you may put your head around the greater African map and advertise your country in terms of your office where you're working, and let us know as Africans, where can we find what on this continent, since you are the one who is assisting us in terms of knowing our own continent. Finish up with your remarks on the, what do you call it?
Wellness and well-being tourism.
Well, yes.
So generally, as we are wrapping up, is the solution that we need to have for Africa culture and heritage. How can it be incorporated in the tourism industry? We just need to focus on packaging. We have what the global market wants now, you know, because we have a lot of people, we have a lot of awakening. People now, they don't just eat. They want to know what that food is going to do to
who
me.
is prepared?
Yes. And they don't just go places. They want to know, what is that place going to help me? I was just giving an example with one friend of mine. I was just talking, just having a conversation about tourism. And he said, I was asking, if I have to take you for a holiday, should I take you to the bush, to the island, or to the city? And he's like, no. I was born, raised in the dust. Why do you want to take me to the dust? I want to go to the city, which makes sense, you understand? Because that's what the person, that's the void the person think that they are missing. It's because we have not packaged our bushes in such a way, and those cultural experience in such a way someone can see a reason. So talking about this cultural village that I'm working with in Mpumalanga, if you look on the package, on the branding, because that's the area that we need to invest on, it's a beautiful setup whereby they are demonstrating the kingdom, the Swati kingdom. And they will tell you this is the place where the king will sleep, this is where the queen will sleep, and the kids and the cows will be here, and the traditional leader has to be there. So they have that, but inside the beds, the rooms, they have the modern ones. Beautiful, nice bed sheet, clear, crispy. But now,
Egyptian cotton.
Egyptian cotton. It's beautiful, and that's what people want. But I was challenging them, saying that, you know what, you can still have that way of sleeping, the way Swati people, traditional way, but you just upgrade it. Because when you go to Bali, go to Bali, people sleep on the floor.
On the floor.
Do you understand? So that's the part that is missing. So we just have to learn how other people have done, packaging their culture, and then we don't have to catch up and copy the way the modern. Let's just upgrade where we are and make it nicer. because we are selling to people who are human beings.
Who are human beings. Chief, take us on a tour of Africa.
From Cape to Cairo. From the sparkling waters of Seychelles. From the sparkling waters of Zanzibar. From the mighty, majestic Victoria Falls, shared, it's a miracle, shared between two countries. That's where you see nature at its best. From the gorilla, caves in Rwanda, where they have more than 500 gorillas housed in one national park. So Africa has so much to offer. The Kruger National Park,
Serengeti.
The Serengeti. So with you can explore and indulge yourself. That's where, beginning of our discussions, we said tourism is about education. Know your roots. It's about connectivity, connecting yourself back to nature.
That's true.
You can only get that in Africa. That's why we have so much international tourism, because they have realized that Africa is the best place to be.
Wow. Interesting. From the pyramids of Giza.
Oh, yes.
In Egypt.
You can name a few.
Darfur. To Jaja in Uganda.
To the top mountain of Kilimanjaro.
To the Karoo. To the Karoo right in the Kalahari Desert.
Yes.
And while you're traveling all these places, we want to encourage you. Don't just go to big hotels. Don't just eat big breakfast. Step down. Go and find out among the local people there. How are they living? What are they eating? How are they healing each other? And how are they coping? And there's something else that I want to also push, spiritual tourism. Why am I saying that? Because you find people from Germany, from Norway, etc. coming to KwaZulu-Natal to look for spiritual healing, and some of them even becoming indigenous or traditional healers and stuff like that.
So for them, that's why they call it wellness. They go to
you are more educated than me. You make it sound very nice.
That's the industry, that's what the industry. So we need to know how to say it. They call it wellness.
They call it wellness. Okay. I want to say spiritual tourism. That's too strong. It must just be wellness.
Wellness. That's how they label it in the market. It's about branding, and we need to catch up. We cannot fight it.
Yes.
We just to see, because our people, unfortunately, they can see. They have internet now. They're seeing you people all over the world. People are looking at you.
Tell me something about Kenya. There's something I enjoyed in Kenya the other time. We were right in, I think, in Nairobi, and they have this nyama choma, which is equivalent to the braai here. But the difference of the nyama choma we had in Kenya, it was fish and goat meat.
Wow.
Here we do beef and chicken. And I'm wondering, I want to challenge you. I have an idea that I must share with you. How about we have an African restaurant in Johannesburg, for example? Not just an African restaurant as of a name, but where you can have Kenyan dishes, Nigerian dishes, Zimbabwean dishes, Botswana dishes, and have this big eatery place, which actually can begin to challenge the mainstream, food and eateries. And we can all maybe have one big map of Africa here, where each country stands in its own stand. I'm already giving you a design, where each country stands in its own design, and you can actually have this eating place of African foods. Because again, until we as Africans,
I can see the place.
You saw it. Where are you eating tonight? Where are you eating tonight?
No, I'm not saying the place is there.
No, I'm saying yes. I'm with you in that. I'm saying so when you see the place, where are we eating tonight?
It's the African food.
I have experienced that, especially during Africa Day. That's where all the embassies, they group together,
and each one
comes with, but it doesn't go beyond that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a very good concept. And we need to educate our people to start appreciating.
I mean, the Africa Union is here, next door, right here. And you'd wonder why not in Midrand we get an old factory, break it apart, and actually have what a real truthful African market, where original foods from Tanzania, original fish from Mozambique, Original, and their people experience.
Can experience.
Your mind is running. I can see your mind is running.
Can we challenge them? Because I have been there. I had lunch there. They've got a lovely restaurant there. But they are serving you rice from China.
An English breakfast.
Let us challenge them.
Yeah.
Yes. Let us challenge them.
You're parting words in exactly 1 minute. What do you want to tell Africa?
Okay, I want to tell Africa, when it comes to tourism, actually, we have what the world wants at this moment in time. People want to travel to upgrade their well-being. And it's only Africa, as we speak now, people can connect it to true nature. So what we have to do is, with the government, private institution, individual people, let's see how we can help our African indigenous people, and also how can we package our culture and heritage to
Parting short from the chairman.
Africa, it's your time and it's our time. It's high time for us to get together. Let us treat one another as brothers and sisters. Let's break the borders that divide us. We are one Africa. We are brothers and sisters. So therefore, let us explore. Let us enjoy what God has given us in Africa.
You are listening as world governments. Please fix up the railway lines. Fix up the roads, let the buses run, let the trains run, fix up the aeroplanes, let the aeroplanes fly, open up the borders, let Africa travel. I mean, sometimes you want to travel, but just the imagination of passports and getting, you're going to Zimbabwe during holiday time, you know you may end up spending 24 hours at the border just to get that lousy little thing put on your passport. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
So as African governments, I hope you are listening out there, guys. We are tired of this whole Eurocentric borders of Berlin conference. Break down the borders. Let the African children travel, and we spend our money on each other. And while we are doing that, please let's learn, let's educate each other about each other's cultures, about each other's lifestyles, and let's become one big family as we've always been. And this is what it's all about. In tourism, it's a moment for you and your family to start teaching your children and showing them things. And remember, you may never know in which house they might end up in. So introduce them early. Let them meet each other. While we're right there, your host is Maponga J. My guest is Mr. Ncube here, and Feichi Garambo Garamashamba Huda Chirana Wana Wanji. Makumbe mwana mwesende we shano wana mtamburi paru wana tanga kugara wana chiramba kusesera mpanongo kuba. Chibwe chiteza chinotedzera rukuri waripedu wano tamba nacho. Tisu wana mshamba ne gore wira miti ya shoshe. Until we see you again, don't do what I wouldn't do. If you decide to do it better.